So today I'm going to talk about a dark side of heaven because heaven's not necessarily this holy, pure, happy-go-lucky place, though there is plenty of that in there. But you see, God did create certain species to settle their differences for breeding partners and intimacy in a very, shall we say, dark way. And this is done through hand-to-hand combat. So in heaven, it just sometimes it's just not about simply running into someone or a couple of people and then making your choice, because when you're, say, a plebeian like myself, I am actually a plebeian in heaven, though I'm occupying a human body here. I have a lot of girlfriends in heaven, I'm told, across many different species that are humanoid. They're human, but say for distinctive features. Well, if I am, say, looking for a breeding partner, for example, and I'm already looking at a couple of females, and another female who might know me comes along and says, "Hey, are you looking for a breeding partner?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I am, but I got a couple of other girls over there that are also interested." Well, she's going to give the line that she has to give, "Let me fight them." And this is how the species settles their differences. There is no getting out of this. There's no way to settle the differences peacefully, no arm wrestling, or you can't flip a coin or something. No, this has to be done in a very, very direct, personal way. So, staying with plebeians, let's just say I have 6 plebeians, females, who want to breed. Well, they have to get together and appoint a liaison, someone who will be the go-between between the other females and myself. And they're going to get together like at a restaurant or at a bar somewhere in heaven, have a meal, have a few drinks, and discuss the matter. They're going to choose a day, a time, but should any of the females be new, very young, and they've never done it before, or they've never done this enough to get used to how these differences are settled, the older females will educate them, because the plebeians and the lichens, for example, lichens being elf-like humanoids, they have a trait biologically that's built into their genetics to where when they trigger this trait can cause them to go into this almost primal rage. And this trait can be very difficult to turn on and turn off. It's kind of like using psychic abilities sometimes. It's like exercising a muscle. You have to do it many times to get used to it. And so that's what happens during this meeting. And even if these people are friends with each other, this is a very personal matter, and friendship and camaraderie, that's just not something that goes on there. Because again, this is a very personal matter. So when they agree to a day and a time and what's going to happen, the liaison will then go to me and say, "Okay, this is when it's going to be done." So on the day of, they will all go to my apartment, because in heaven we all have apartments, like studios, I believe. And they will knock on my door and say it's time. And so we all go downstairs, and this, to some extent, is ritualized. So apparently in the plebeian species, we lock arms together, kind of like how when the Germans do their beer drinking songs, they sometimes lock arms together. We do this, and we stay in this position as we walk over to where the differences will be settled, the fight will be had. Now, this fight will be held in a cage, believe it or not very different from UFC. And so it's in a grassy area. There are many, many cages here, so because there are a lot of species who settle their differences this way. And so we walk up to an angel who is manning this area and say that these females want to settle a difference, they need to fight, settle their differences, however we say it. And he will then lead us to a cage. So what happens next is that I then have to derobe all of the potential suitors, if that is the correct word. And because there's just no sense in fighting with your clothes on. And we all wear a black robe that we can tie that has a hood. We don't need to wear anything else in heaven. Heaven, the temperatures are quite mild. It can get hot or cold, but not enough to where we need anything more than this robe. So quickly derobe all the females, and then they go into the cage, and then the angel locks the cage behind them. Okay, there's no getting out. You're either going to come out the victor or you're going to come out defeated and really beat up. So then there's two ways the females will get into position. They can either take up positions in the cage and certain parts of the cage, or they can get into a circle. They probably have an opponent already picked out. And when they're in position, they then engage this trait. And you'll see their demeanors change rather quickly. They will start getting angry. They will start yelling. They will start cussing. They will start becoming so angry you don't even want to get near them, because they might turn and, punch you in the face, and it's going to hurt really bad because they just don't know any better. And please pardon my heater. It keeps turning on and off. I wish it wouldn't. So when that trait is fully engaged, they go at it with everything they got. Kicking, punching, biting, gouging eyes out, breaking arms, breaking fingers. There is no holds barred. So this will continue until there is a victor. Now, when someone is defeated, it's either because she is bleeding too much to where she just shuts down. You can't die in heaven, but when you're bleeding too much, your body shuts down, and then an angel will come in and grab that person and get out quickly. Or when the person is rendered incapacitated. For example, if a foot is broken or a leg is broken and she can't fight anymore, then she has to be taken out. And so the victor is determined last man standing. And when this potential suitor has won, then I and the angel have to go in there and grab her. Now, she is probably still enraged, and so we had to literally restrain her. And so she's still yelling, screaming, cussing, saying how she's going to beat me up. And so we have to take her along with the other suitors to a clinic that's not that far away, but it does resemble a hospital. And in this hospital, this is where they all get patched up and made right again. And there is absolutely nothing that can't be repaired. I mean, even if one of her eyes was gouged out, they can just grow another one and through surgery, put it right back, connect it right back. I mean, it's that simple. And during this time, I will stay with my champion throughout the day and throughout the nights. And, she can't move her hands, or I have to help her eat. I have to help her do anything because she's confined to a bed as she's being healed. And she is the person that I concentrate on. I don't go talk to the other potentials. I don't say, hey, maybe next time. No, that's just, you don't do that. They're irrelevant. And so that is how it works. And it will be 3 days or so before she's ready to leave. And then when she leaves, we walk out together, and then we're either going to breed or be partners for however long. So this is how certain species settle their differences. And again, not every species does it this way. I mean, humans, for example, some might think we're rather violent humans. We are compared to some of the other species, but no, humans are rather docile compared to the other sentient races. It is the Pleiadians and the lichens and a few other species I'm not familiar with that settle their differences in this way. And the Pleiadians, from what I'm told, are the most violent. I mean, they are very, very brutal in how they fight for companions. And so that is the dark side to heaven. And I was kind of confused. I asked, why would God do this? And he said, simply because he wanted some species that settled their differences through this way. There's nothing wrong with it. No one objected to it. No one really could object to it. He's the creator of the universe. He can create species and have them do certain things however he wants. So there you have it. So I'd like to know what people would think. I mean, this does sound rather outrageous, I know. But at the same time, I mean, we know very little about what goes on in heaven and very little about the other species. So I'd like to hear what you think about in the comments below. Thanks for watching.